Hello and welcome to today's review of The World's End. If you're wondering why my camera looks like this, I briefly explain it in this video right here, but basically my flip camera that I've been using for the last few years sadly passed away about a week and a half ago, and I'm using this Samsung 4G that my girlfriend owns as a somewhat suitable replacement while I get a better camera. So that happened. Now, before I go into this review is going to contain spoilers throughout, so if you do not want to be spoiled, go see the movie first. If you've already seen the movie, welcome. So this is the final film in the Cornetto Trilogy, which is a group of films written by Edgar, or directed by Edgar Wright and written by Simon Pegg. It always stars Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. It's called the trilogy, but I don't believe these films have anything to do with each other. Someone can correct me, but I seriously doubt it. The story behind this one is 5 old childhood friends getting together and completing this old pub crawl to the World's End. We basically went through 12 bars all the way to the World's End, and if they can drink every single one of them, then they achieve some status in their life. I don't really get it. We don't really have that here in America, I don't think. At least I've never done it. But as they're going through their old hometown, they realize not everything as it seems, and that it has actually become the focal point of an alien invasion. So basically the night turns into finish the pub crawl, make it to the World's End without being turned into giant blue ink blood robots, basically. Main characters we got here are Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Martin Freeman, Paddy Considine, and I forget the 5th actor's name. I made sure to memorize this beforehand too, god damn it. I'll put up a annotation when I remember it. They were once childhood friends, but as with all childhood friends, they grow up, they move on, they get jobs, they get families, all that. All except for Simon Pegg, who never really grew up, and basically the whole thing is his idea because they never finished it when they were kids and they want to finish it now. Or he does, really. Everybody else is just kind of like, eh. This film is a goldmine of comedy. There are laughs throughout. It is a very, very funny film. Much akin to Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, although Shaun of the Dead was hilarious. Hot Fuzz was kind of a mixed bag, really. This is like a pure comedy right here, with some, obviously, alien drama thrown in there. Rosamund Pike makes an appearance as the love interest, not so much of Simon Pegg, but of Paddy Considine. At least from the trailers, it may look like it was between Simon Pegg, but it's not. Kind of defies the whole, the hero gets the girl in the end. He doesn't. But whatever. Martin Freeman gets turned into a robot to near the halfway part of the film. You know, I never like to say that I know everything that's going to happen in movies, even though I've seen so many, but sometimes I can just call him, and I can call him a mile away. And as soon as Martin Freeman went into the bathroom alone, even though by that point they all know something is wrong, and he still goes in there alone, I just said, he's gonna come out a robot. And he did. And it was like, yep, I called it. The jokes are brilliantly written. The actors pull them off with, like, the whole 1-2 punch combo with their jokes. They're bouncing off each other back and forth. All 5 of these main actors bounce off each other so brilliantly well. I mean, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are a comedy duo for the ages. These two are brilliant together. Martin Freeman, having tiny little roles in the first 2 films, now gets a rather large role in this one. Paddy Considine played one of the cops in Hot Fuzz. 5th actor, I don't think he was in any of the other films. I don't really remember, though. But it's also kind of a sad movie, because these characters have grown up, but they're still kind of, there's ties to their past, really. So, you know, Steven's still drawn to Sam, who's Oliver's brother. Peter is still tormented by a bully from his childhood days. Andy, Nick Frost, had an accident when he was younger that he's never really gotten over, he's never really forgiven Simon Pegg's character for. And Simon Pegg, towards the end of the film, you realize that his character never really grew up, and it really kind of affected him, because he's been in rehab, he tried to kill himself. It's a whole sad story with him, really, about why he's doing this. And it gets really somber towards the end, when especially between Pegg and Frost, when they kind of realize, you know, we can't keep doing this, you know, it's time to grow up. Effects-wise, this is probably the biggest budget film of the 3, with, you know, all the alien special effects and the giant monster that rolls in through there. There's a lot of lens flare, though. It was very J.J. Abrams-like, with all the bright lights and the lens flares. Probably the funniest part for me was at the very end, when they're trying to reason with the voice, the network that's been controlling this whole thing, and they're trying to realize, you know what, humans don't need to be controlled. We are not perfect. We like to f*** up. You know, just leave us to our devices and go away. And finally, the voice just like, you know what, I can't reason with you, we're done here. And they're like, really? And the voice just like, yeah, it. Everyone in the theater burst out into laughter over that. It was brilliant. But there is one major complaint, and that's the epilogue. The epilogue in the Cornetto Trilogy, all three movies' epilogues, honestly, I've never been a huge fan of any of them. I mean, Shaun of the Dead was okay, having, you know, zombie Ed still in the shed, and they, you know, they play video games and stuff like that. That was okay. You didn't need to have it there, but it was alright. Hot Fuzz's epilogue did not need to be there at all. Like, at all. You could have easily cut it out there. Honestly, you probably could have at least ended it at the either the arrest of what's his name's character or where the station blows up. Just end it there. I mean, the epilogue at the end of Hot Fuzz did not do anything for the film. And the epilogue for World's End, it's almost like we just walked into a whole other movie. It's this end of the world, Dark Ages kind of scenario, and Nick Frost is huddled around a campfire with some kids telling them, you know, the story of the world's end, basically. But it just feels like we're suddenly in this, I don't know, I Am Legend kind of ending, where, you know, it's the apocalypse and everyone's just kind of surviving now, with the aliens just kind of coexisting with them. And it was just like, how did we get here? Exactly. I mean, from what the movie says, the network leaving caused a huge network blackout all over the world, which basically sent humanity back to the Dark Ages. But why? I don't know. It just seemed like a really weird way to kind of end the movie off. Also, they seemed really nonchalant about the fact that two of their oldest childhood friends are essentially dead at the end of the film, and that they've been forever replaced by these two robots, one of which has half his freaking head missing. They just seem to be kind of okay with that, especially since one of them is Rosamund Pike's brother, and she just kind of shacks up with his friend, and that's it. They don't really seem to care that her brother is technically dead. It kind of shows that Simon Pegg's character has changed and grown up at the end, but not really, because he's still getting into pub brawls, even though he's not ordering any alcohol. So really, your mileage could vary there. Other than the epilogue, though, this film is a blast. You are going to be laughing from beginning to end, pretty much. I highly recommend you see it. It's a beautifully put together film. It's beautifully written, beautifully acted, and I think it's one of those films that people are really going to remember. I mean, Hot Fuzz kind of flew under the radar, I think, for a lot of people, but in recent years, it's starting to gain more popularity. This one, I think this one's gonna stick in people's minds like Shaun of the Dead did. Like, people are gonna remember this film, and it's a brilliant film to remember. So, go see it. Definitely recommend you see it. I might even go see it again in theaters. I don't normally like to go twice to movies, but I'll do it. I don't really care. And yeah, that's about it. So, yeah, let me know what you guys thought of The World's End, and of the Cornetto Trilogy in general, I suppose. And I will see you guys next time. Peace soup.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, a favorite, subscribe to the channel, post it on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Reddit, something awful, spray paint on buildings, make a flag of it, get it tattooed in your forearm, get it branded into your forehead. This is SickSlickProductions saying keep the spirit of the movies alive.